Louie T. Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your commander-in-chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. This is an impromptu live stream because you guys essentially bullied me into this stream. Okay. I give the people what they want. And I got so many people DMing me. People hit me up on socials like, yo, you going live? Yo, you going live? And what I ultimately don't want, because I still plan on going live tonight, is I don't want this here to hijack tonight's show, which it might ultimately do anyway. I may not be able to control that. And I'm fine with that. But if I can somehow lessen the impact of today's news and still keep it about ball in the draft and things of that nature, I'd like to do that tonight, if at all possible. This kind of lightens that load a bit. So the reason why I'm not jumping over the moon like most of you is because it's not done yet. Ian Rappaport put out a tweet. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the tweet. And this is from Ian Rappaport. Ian Rappaport writes, from NFL Now, Josh Harris Group is nearing a purchase of the Commanders for just under $6 billion. So that's new news. We thought it was going to be $6 billion, just under 6. Remember, Dan's number was 6. So anything under 6 is a bit of a surprise. I don't give a damn. You know that I don't really care how much it sells for or who it's sold to, even though I do kind of care about that. I really didn't want the Rockets owner, Fertitta, to buy the team, and I really wasn't too thrilled about the Canadian guy that came out of nowhere. But anyway, it didn't matter. If one of those guys had purchased the team, so be it. Let's move forward, get Dan the hell out of here. But anyway, nothing is done. I need you to understand this part right here. Even though it's close, it's as close as we can get. We're literally first and goal from, let's call it the 2-yard line. Okay, first and goal from the 2. Nothing is done. Final agreed to or submitted to the league. That's the first thing that Ian Rappaport led off with this little 1-minute hit that he did for NFL Network, which is, this is not final. Nothing has been agreed upon and nothing's been submitted to the league. The owners still have to vote on this. 2/3 of the owners have to agree. They're going to agree. Okay. They want Dan the hell out of there. But all of these things, all of these formalities must be taken care of before we can start dancing in the streets. Dan has signed his name to nothing yet. I'm not dancing in the streets until this shit is done. But Harris appears to be the choice, but a small step closer. So we're getting close. We're as close as we've ever been. And we can smell victory, okay? It's almost there. We feel like we can reach out and touch it, but we can't quite grab it yet. So many of you are ready to grab the dub. I'm not ready to grab the dub yet. I liken it to this, okay? You got a big deal that you're working on and you've been working on for months. And this deal is going to net you $2.6 million. And you can smell the money. You can taste the money. And it's right there. But guess what? That deal isn't done and it hasn't hit your bank account. You're not going to start celebrating, or at least you shouldn't. All right. You shouldn't pop open the bubbly. You shouldn't pop open the bubbly. You shouldn't go make any expensive purchases until you open up your app for your bank and you see the money hit your account. I'm not celebrating until I see the money hit my account. It's not real until it is in my account and I can see it. I can lay eyes on it. If I wanted to go and pull it out of my account, I could. This isn't done yet. Until he's officially gone, I'm not celebrating a damn thing. I'm not going to rain on your parade, however. If you want to start celebrating now, please, by all means, go right ahead. I will watch. I will root you on. I will cheer you on as you celebrate. But damn it, I will not be participating. Okay? So let me make it be clear right now. It is not done yet. So everyone that is over the moon excited, we're still in the same place we were in yesterday and the day before that, and the day before that, still talking. Ain't shit done yet. It's close. But we've been saying that for how long now? Again, we're as close as we've ever been. but it's still not done. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm dancing in the streets. You'll know when it's dancing in the streets time. Okay. As a matter of fact, let me let you know right now. When it's dancing in the streets time, I'm going to do a quick video. I'm also going to put this all over social media where I'm going to send out one of those little QR codes. Okay. All you have to do is scan the QR code, and that's going to allow you the ability to send me a clip of you. It could be 5 seconds, it could be 10 seconds, it could be 15 seconds, up to a minute of you or whomever dancing in the streets. We dancing in the streets, okay? And if you want to send me a video of you dancing in the streets, please send it to me, because we're going to play every single one of those clips because it's a party. Or as my Memphis Grizzlies like to say, and I don't know where the hell they got it from, but I'm assuming they got it from a song. They're not that clever, right? It's a parade inside my city, yeah. It's not a parade inside my city quite yet, okay? It's not a parade inside my city yet. But we're getting close. But when that time comes, we dancing in the streets, shake it, warrior. You'll know. You'll know when it's done. Oh, we popping bottles on the channel. I'll have my glass of wine, and you can bring whatever you want to the party. I assume that this all will be over after the draft. I've already told you the NFL doesn't step on its own toes. Never does it step on its own toes. The draft is literally 2 weeks away. 2 Thursdays from today, the first round of the NFL draft will take place. They will not allow anything to upstage the NFL draft. The owners meet in May. That's probably when they will ratify this thing. They will vote and they will pass it through. And that's when I think it'll become official. And that's when we start dancing. That's when we start dancing in the streets to the beat of the rhythm of the night. All night long, all night, oh, all night long, all night, all night. Then we can have a conversation about, I do want to ask you this. This is a bit premature, but I just want to ask you anyway, since I've got almost 300 of you here right now, middle of the day. And someone asked me this, and I said, I'm going to wait. If you've been watching, then you know what my answer is, because I gave it to you already. And I think it happened on a podcast episode. But I'm going to ask the same question of you. I'm going to let you answer, and then I'll give you my answer. Someone will probably give the answer that I've given already. So I probably don't even need to give the answer that I'm going to give. What is the very first thing you want new ownership to do? I expect a wide-ranging variety of answers, scanning from and varying from go get Lamar Jackson to change the name. And everything else will probably fall in between. I think those are the two, ends of the spectrum, right? Because one's football related, one's non-football related. And both, I don't think, are happening. However, you never know. You never know what they come in here and decide to do. I highly doubt that they change the name. It costs so much money. They've already spent $6 billion to, or nearly $6 billion if this thing goes through, to purchase the team. I don't think they're looking to spend another $2, $3, $4, $5 million to rebrand it all over again. Okay. And the first rebranding was a nightmare. Okay. So you may not love Commanders. I think that's going to be the name ultimately moving forward, but I'd love to see what you guys have to say. So leave it down in the comment section. I've got some super chats. I'll knock those out. If you're out there and you want to have your comment read, super chats are the way to do that. Also, you can use the hashtag, since this is a unique set of circumstances. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. If we have time, I'm not going to be here all day. I have other things to do. So the super chats will come first. I will knock those out and we will discuss. And if we have time for, a hashtag or two, maybe we'll knock those out. But super chats are the only way you're guaranteed to get your comment read. And you guys know how that works. So let's go ahead, get to the comment section. Read the super chats. If we've got time, we'll get to some comments, but more likely than not, we won't. Because like I said, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. It is middle of the day. I know a lot of you have other things to do. We will reconvene later on tonight for the Command Post Live yet again. And again, if you want to rehash this conversation, I have no problems discussing it again on tonight's platform where others that are at work right now will have an opportunity to chime in. So anyway, have at it. Take Command for Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, F. Snyder, we're free. Not quite, but we're getting there. I mean, we're dangerously close. All right. If we can't get it in the end zone from here, then we don't deserve a new owner. So at this point, it's all but a done deal. But again, I'm not going to celebrate yet until it's done. So that's just how my brain works. That's how I'm wired. And that's how I'm going to continue. I told you how I was going to approach this situation. Told you that about 3 months ago when I was riding that emotional roller coaster. I was feeling like Vivian Green over here on this emotional roller coaster. And it wasn't healthy for me. Was not healthy for me. Because I was riding every twist and every turn. And I said, I'm getting off of this shit. Okay. I'm just going to let this situation play out. And then when it is done, I will celebrate. But we're almost there. Jamal Hamlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jamal writes, Lou, I'm bumping Cube and drinking some Euro beer. I know where this is going. Gotta say, it was a good day. It was an okay day. It's been an okay day. It hasn't been a great day. Today was a good day. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Anytime you get news that pushes us closer towards the goal line and into the end zone on this thing, it's a good day. And I mean, this is a big one. A lot of people kept saying we were at the 5-yard line, first and goal. I always felt like we were in the red zone, like 18-yard line, 19-yard line, somewhere around there. We just got another nice chunk play down to the 2-yard line. Now we're looking to punch this baby in. Okay. When Bezos was reportedly swimming around and there were other offers that were put in, the Canadian reportedly put in a $6 billion offer as well. No one knew where he was getting the money from. Still felt like we had a little ways to go and some things to sort out. Now that the picture is getting a little bit clearer, I feel like we're down inside the 5 at the 2-yard line. First and goal. Looking to punch this baby in. Now, if Scott Turner's calling the plays, we could find a way to not get in the end zone. We did it multiple times last year. Titans game, Giants game. So nothing's done, which is why I'm not celebrating yet. But I surmise that something's going to get done here, and hopefully this will be much like Eric Bieniemy. We'll get this thing in the end zone, put some points up on the scoreboard. Thank you for the super chat, Jamal Hamlin. Video channel, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Video channel writes, we dancing in the streets. Shake it, warrior. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. But as I've already told you guys, when that time comes, I will send out that QR code so that if you want to showcase you or someone else or a group of people dancing in the streets, please, by all means, the platform will be here. We will dance in the streets together. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. I'm not dancing in the streets quite yet, but Birdman hand rub. We're getting dangerously close. Dangerously close. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, I ain't celebrating until it's official, but I'm stocking up on the champagne. That's where I am in the process. You know how when an NBA Finals team or World Series team is close to winning the chip and they start stocking up all the champagne and they putting it on ice and they're putting up all the paper to protect everything and they're getting the goggles ready. That's where we are in the process. Now, you can get egg all over your face because you can start printing up the t-shirts and you can start getting the bubbly ready and you can start putting up all the paper to protect everything and you can start getting the goggles out and then that team can blow the lead. It can happen. I've seen it happen. This doesn't feel like one of those situations. I just have to say that. This doesn't feel like one of those situations. However, until it is officially done, until this is officially official, or as we used to say back in the day, official tissue, I'm going to reserve popping the bubbly. I'm going to reserve dancing in the streets until everything's finalized. I'm right there with you, Red Wings 01. We on the same page. But I'm stocking up. It's getting nice and cold. It's chilled. It's ready to go. And I got plenty of it. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Twin D, writes, hey, LT, what's going on, Twin D? Says, I'm hoping that I can put the Eminem Boys moniker to bed. Mired in mediocrity will no longer apply if, and I repeat, if this deal gets done. I would love to see you put that to rest. Put it to bed one final time. We can go out back, dig a shallow grave, put the Eminem in there, cover it up, say a little prayer, and hope we never have to revisit that again. That's the hope. I mean, that's where we are with this thing, right? Is that I'm ready. You know, the minute that this thing goes final, I'm putting the clip up. I'm putting the clip up, a Stringer Bell, telling the fellas, put the word out. We back up. I'm not bullshitting you when I tell you the rest of the East and the rest of the conference will be put on notice. The minute Dan Snyder signs his name and gives up control of this organization and this is done, we back in this bitch. It's been a long time, over 2 decades, where we could say to ourselves, ain't shit stopping us. I feel like we got the right ownership now because it ain't Dan Snyder. I don't even know if these guys are any good. It ain't Dan Snyder, so it can't be as bad as it was. It can only get to that level. It can't exceed it. So we can't be any worse off than we just were for the last 23 years. Impossible. So we got better ownership. Without even seeing it, we know it's better, okay? Without even seeing their work, we know it's better. Our coach isn't any better. He's the same old Ron, but he's got a different mentality, though. Went out and got different coaches, left his comfort zone, stopped bringing in guys from Carolina. He stepped out of the box this offseason. I feel like some of the decisions made in free agency, they keep telling us, oh, it had nothing to do with ownership. Bullshit. And that's fine. Whatever you got to tell us to make us feel better, it's fine by me. You did what you had to do with what you had. You took the resources that were allotted to you and you made the best out of the situation. Good for you. But getting Eric Bieniemy, getting a new quarterback's coach when you didn't have to, they could have kept Ken Zampese as the quarterback's coach, but they said, nah, we shaking shit up. They could have kept the same wide receivers coach. Told him, no, man, if you got an opportunity in Arizona, go take it. We'll find another wide receiver coach. They brought in Bobby Ingram. We'll see what he's about. They didn't have to get rid of our offensive line coach. They could have kept him right where he was at. Last year was a disaster. However, I don't put that all on him. He only used the resources that he was given. But Ron said, nah, we shaking shit up. So they got rid of him. They're gonna, I think, promote from within. They still haven't announced who the new offensive line coach is, but we think it's Travell Wharton, right? It's a different mentality. I like it. And I feel like we got the quarterback. That's not saying much. You already know how I feel. It's the new high order. Shit's about to change. We're not there yet. But as a wise man once told me, it's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. It's coming. We ain't there yet, but damn it, we close. Then we can bury Eminem, put it out back. J Sauer 1990. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, I'm going to be here cracking beers like Stone Cold. You're like, throw me another one. Catch it, crack it open, and just start guzzling. We ain't there yet, though. We'll get there. We'll get there. Billy A. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, what you know about it's a parade inside my city, yeah. Lou, you a young man, huh? But the Grizzlies got it from NBA Youngboy. I knew they had to get it from somebody. That's who all the young boys are listening to. They all listening to NBA Youngboy. I even know what the NBA stands for, man. Never broke again, right? Look, I'm old, but I ain't that old, man. I try to stay plugged in as best I can. You know what I'm saying? I try to do what I can do, man. All right? Even know who they beef with. I know a little something, man. Don't count me out. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not listening to that shit. Okay. That's not my steez, but I stay plugged in just enough to be dangerous. Okay. Just enough to be dangerous. All right. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP writes, Lou, JP, sounds like Dan is about to be gone. Yes, it does. I don't really have any specific things I want the team to do. Honestly, I just want to win at this point. It's possible the winning starts next year. Very possible. I feel like the winning starts this year. Now, I still have questions, and I'm hoping the draft. And remember, there's also another post-draft free agency period where Washington loves to shop. That's how they got Bobby McCain. That's how they got Charles Leno Jr. Okay. They love shopping post-draft free agency because teams will get their hands on players in the draft that will make veteran players who cost them money expendable, and they will release some of these guys. And Washington may be waiting there, Birdman hand rub. They've done it in the past. They can do it again. So, and Ron even talked about the post-draft free agency period, right? So, I want to see what other moves are done. I want to see what else happens before I start to pronounce our arrival in terms of having a big season. I was bullish last year because of the schedule. I'm not as gung-ho on the schedule this year. It will help when I look at the schedule. I know the teams that are going to be on it, but how are those games set up? You know, our schedule, not only was it a clean schedule with a opportunity to get off to a fast start with Jacksonville and Detroit in the first 2 weeks, which we didn't take full advantage of, but we didn't have any stretches where we were on the road for an elongated period of time. No 2 straight on the road until weeks 10 and 11. Yeah, Philadelphia and Houston in weeks 10 and 11 were the first time that we spent 2 weeks on the road in a row. It was the only time. The only time all season long that we played 2 games in a row on the road. Like, the schedule was set up for success last year. Home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, road, road, home, road. come off the bye, home, away, home, home. And that was the end of the season. You finished up with 2 home games. And we screwed the pooch. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like this year. I doubt that we start the season off at home against a beatable opponent. But we'll see what happens. I just know that if this sale gets done, which it feels like it's imminent, and with all the moves made in the direction I feel like the organization is heading in, with Ron Rivera hiring Eric Bieniemy, which has us invigorated offensively. Ron keeps talking about how these guys are meeting earlier than normal, right? These guys are staying later than normal. And I'm talking about the coaching staff offensively, that he's getting these guys prepared to transform this offense into something we haven't seen in Washington in a very long time. Ron keeps telling me, hey, we going to be Kansas City East. I don't believe it. I need to see it first. I don't give a damn if we're great value KC or we're Kansas City light. We don't have to be KC East. We can be some knockoff of KC. If we're even remotely close to the Chiefs, it's over. Shit's over. We got the weapons. So we'll see what happens. I'm with you. I got one thing that I would like the new ownership to do, but nothing trumps winning. I'm right there with you on that fact. Mr. Ron B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we have red zone scoring issues, so let's hold off on the celebration until we have Stevie Wonder sign, seal, deliver. I'm yours. I'm waiting for them to sign, seal, deliver this organization back to who it rightfully belongs to, and that's us. The owners have control of it, but we invest blood, sweat, and tears and money and time and all resources into this organization. The shit is ours too, and we want it back. Shit was stolen, and it was stolen from us by Dan Snyder. So we about to get some Stevie up in this joint. Sign, seal, deliver. It's yours. Bring it back where it belongs. Like you said, Scott Turner, red zone woes last year. Scott's not here anymore. It's a new day, okay? Scott's no longer here tormenting us in the red zone. Let's punch this bad boy in. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Twin D. Who writes, I agree there will be no name change, but if there is, the Washington Sans Dans is the only name I'd accept. Well, definitely not naming it that. But there's still people out there. I hate to do this because I told you I'm no dream killer. Okay. I don't like crushing dreams. But there's still a very, very small, very minute faction of this fan base that is still holding out hope that they'll return the name to Redskins. Let me, if you haven't heard this before, and I'm pretty sure you have, if that's what you're going with, let me just pile on. And I hate to pile on when you've already been beaten up. You're already, on the ground. You're in the fetal position, protecting yourself. You've gotten beaten up. Let me just pile on, man. I'm gonna just go to the top rope. I'm gonna put my hands up like the Macho Man Randy Savage, and let me just get one elbow drop on you. Pow! They're not changing the name back to Redskins, so you cancel that noise. All right. Let me just one little elbow drop from the top rope, just so you know it's real. All right. But I don't think they're changing the names. Will they change the look of the team? I don't think they're going to do that either. I can tell you this much. If I just spent close to $6 billion on something, there's a very small chance that I'm looking to invest any more money into it right now. Let me start making some money. And look, this is a very lucrative business. They're going to get their money back. That's why they spent the money that they spent, because you can't lose in the NFL. We went through COVID and the NFL was still winning. Okay. They didn't even let fans in, and they were still winning. They still were getting TV money. Live sports. It's what's keeping the lights on for cable networks and cable television. If there was no live sporting events, nobody would be paying for DirecTV, Cox Cable, Comcast, none of them shits. Okay? None of them. They'd be all dead. Dead, I tell you. Everybody would be streaming everything. Most people are streaming already. So there's always going to be money made in the NFL. As long as the product is there, they're always going to continue to make money. They're going to get their money back. But until they start reaping some of the benefits, I'm not spending another dime. That means I'm not changing the name. I'm not changing the uniforms. I'm not changing the look. I'm not changing the stadium. We're going to ride that thing on out until 2027 when the lease is up. But for those of you holding out hope, keep hope alive. Command the Room. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Command the Room writes, oh, what a feeling when we dancing on the ceiling. Lou, I am day drinking and not wearing pants. TMI. TMI. Okay. I even hugged my dad. Pants were on. That's good to know. Love your show, Lou. Ding dong, the bish is dead. Almost. As a wise woman once told me, almost doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. I'm not there yet, but we're getting close. My finger is right by the doorbell. I'm not pressing it yet. Not pressing the doorbell yet. Because if you press the doorbell, you better be prepared to run. Right? You're not ready to run and somebody answers the door. Uh-oh. Trouble. I'm not ready to press the doorbell yet. Not quite yet. Max on the beat. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Max writes, curious, Louie, if you could change your team's name from Commander, what name would you go with? I don't really know. Honestly, I don't care about the name. I wasn't opposed to Red Wolves. Now that Sam Howell is the starting quarterback, how dope would Howell be with Red Wolves? Like, it just feels like it's too right? But Red Wolves did sound a little, it did sound a little childish, but I mean, so do most of the names in the NFL. I mean, the only reason that we're okay with them and they don't sound as childish to us anymore is because we've been hearing these names for as long as we can remember. I mean, what the hell is a Denver Bronco, right? It's a Philadelphia Eagle. The Eagles, the Broncos, the Chiefs. I mean, these names aren't great names, but they're names that these teams and fans have been rooting for their entire lives. It's all they know. So you would get used to Red Wolves if that's what it was. I personally don't have a problem with Commanders. The only problem I have with Commanders is that there's really no way of shortening it. There's no nickname for Commanders. You're just kind of stuck saying the entire name the entire time. So that's probably my biggest gripe. The uniforms don't bother me. The black is still something I'm getting used to, right? Because that was never a part of our color scheme. And when we wear it, it does give off Steelers vibes a bit. And, when you're playing the Cowboys and we have on all black, it just doesn't feel right. But I don't have a problem with the uniforms. So I don't necessarily feel like changing it is necessary. And I didn't have a name that I was willing to stand on the table for. Because I really didn't care. So I wish I had something better for you, but I don't. Brush the 4. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, saw Caleb Williams, DC native, posted thank you with the picture of SNYDER, maybe a reunion to DC next year. Well, here's the thing. You said that as if he has control over where he goes. He doesn't control a damn thing. All he can control is his play on the field in 2023, which will set him up to be what everybody is already projecting him and assumes he will be, which is the #1 overall pick in next year's draft. That's all he can do. Could he strong arm his way to Washington? Sure, but nobody does that. The only guy that ever did that, two quarterbacks that ever did that, John Elway in '83 and Eli Manning in '04, but nobody ever does that. You're excited about being drafted into the NFL wherever you end up. Would you like to play for a better team? Sure, but look, that's the beauty of being drafted 1 overall is you have a chance to change the fortunes of a franchise. And if you can do that, they'll build you a plaque or they'll build you a statue. I've said this already. If Ron Rivera wins a championship here, no one deserves a statue more than Joe Jackson Gibbs. So there should be I feel like at the new stadium, there should be a statue of Gibbs from the last Super Bowl he won when they picked him up and put him on the shoulders. That image of Joe Gibbs right there, there should be a statue of him on the shoulders of those players as he's being carried off the field after winning, what was that, Super Bowl 37? 27. Was that 27? Jesus Christ, it's been a long time. 91 season into 92, 30 years ago. It's 31 years. What Super Bowl are we on now? Wasn't this just 57? 58? I'm curious now. I should know the numbers of the Super Bowls that we won. Shame on me. It's been a long time. Super Bowl, my guess is 20. I said 7. So it's probably 26. Yep, it's 26. Let's see. I could be wrong. Yep, 26. I was close. Super Bowl 26. That's the image that should be immortalized outside of the new stadium. And if Ron Rivera or whomever the next coach because someone's going to win a Super Bowl in my lifetime here in Washington, trust me, it's going to make all of this struggle and strife that we've gone through. We've had this conversation before. All right, so we don't need to rehash this, but someone's going to win a Super Bowl and it's going to make all of this worth it. That guy's probably going to get a statue as well. It's been so long. That guy's probably going to get a statue as well, but no one deserves one before Joe Jackson Gibbs gets his. And I would like to see that happen while he's still alive. Please give the man his flowers while he can still smell them. A1 93. Stand up. You are officially the newest member of the MOBB. Y'all know what to do, squad. Welcome in with open arms. Feel like we've done this before, but it's always great to have you back on board. A1 93, welcome to the squad. So glad to have you aboard. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB and love the thumbnail. Joe Rockhead writes, the perfect mix of new owner, new OC, and new how order. NHO. Y'all know what it is. It's all coming together, man. It feels like a perfect storm. All right. Feels like the perfect storm is brewing for us to come out of nowhere, finish last in the division, rise from the ashes like a phoenix, win this bad boy, and go do some damage in the playoffs and have everybody saying, where the hell did this come from? This feels like a rags to riches type of situation. Feels like it. The momentum is building. A193, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, the newest member of the MOBB, who writes, people, we are free. Lou, we waiting on the ink to dry, baby. We ain't all agree on the name, but we stand in unison on this. With all 3 jerseys on, I might add, hashtag A+ offseason, hashtag we coming. I told y'all this, 2-3 months ago, I put out a video saying this is the biggest offseason in Washington franchise history. And we all know why. It was because there was a very good chance. Nothing was certain when the season met its conclusion, but we felt really good once Dan hired, Bank of America to start, the preliminary steps towards selling. We knew that this was becoming a reality. And because of that, we knew there was a very good chance we were going to get our franchise back and rid ourselves of the bad man known as Dan Snyder. And just that alone makes it a massive offseason, the biggest in franchise history. We've won Super Bowls. We've been at the top of the mountain. But when you've been at the bottom, as we have for so long because of ownership, and you felt like there was no way out, a lot of us thought that we would die before we saw new ownership. The fact that it's happening in our lifetime, and we didn't have to wait 40 more years for it to transpire. We have to wait to see if he was going to pass the misery on to a family member that was going to continue on the legacy of shame. The fact that it's happening now, giving us a chance to fight and be relevant while we've made necessary changes that we think are ultimately going to give us a chance to compete at a very high level this upcoming season. This all feels like a massive offseason that's setting us up for not just success. And this is what Ron has been used. Again, I say this all the time when I'm about to give Ron a compliment. Say what you want about Ron. Okay. Say what you want about Ron. But he's been positioning himself for a run. Now, is he going to run out of time before he can go on that run? That remains to be seen. He's going to get this final year. Although he has 2 more years, this year and next, on his contract, he's going to get this final year to prove to ownership before they start saying, you know what? Not our guy. Let's get our guy in here. But if Ron is able to deliver this season, prove to ownership that he is in fact the right guy and that he was building towards this moment, and Ron himself, there's going to be a burden, believe it or not. And Ron will sit there and try to convince you the Snyders have been nothing but good to me. They're the reason I have this job. I thank the Snyders. He can say all the good shit he wants, but trust and believe when he goes home, shuts the door, and he's talking to his wife, he's talking to his daughter and his dogs and shit, Ron is saying, oh my God, I can just coach football now. This is all I ever wanted when I took the job. I just want to talk ball. I don't want to talk about name, which was thrown on his plate immediately when he took the job. Ron was hired in January, maybe late December, but January, I believe it was. And by July, Ron was in the midst of a name, not a discussion. He was in the middle of a name change. He hadn't even coached his first game in Washington. Let the shitstorm begin. And from that point on, between cancer and all the off-the-field allegations, all of the off-the-field investigations, all the shit that he had to answer from, Brian Robinson's name being drugged through the mud by Snyder's lawyer and all the stupid shit that went on that he always had to answer. He's just going to get to coach ball this year. Are you kidding me? Shit's about to be lit this year. Jordan the GOAT. Jordan, like the GOAT. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, I have to ask you, how are you excited for a QB that's barely played a game but not excited for the unofficial departure of Snyder? Because it's not official yet. I've watched Sam Howell play football a bunch of times. Not just one game in a meaningless Week 18 matchup for the Commanders. I watched him play a lot of football at the University of North Carolina. I watched him play in the preseason. What do you mean? I've already explained this to you. I'm excited about this, but I'm no more excited today than I was yesterday or the day before that. It's the same shit. All they did was say Bezos isn't buying. Okay. I told you, I don't give a shit how much the organization is worth or how much someone pays there. I just want him gone. Somebody could have paid his ass $10 billion. I don't give a shit. I don't care who buys it, even though I keep saying that. Unlike with the name where I really didn't care, as long as they, and I always used to say, I don't care what they name as long as they don't embarrass us, which I said, they're not going to name us the Washington Tampons. They're not going to name us something stupid like that. So I don't have to worry about that. They're not going to embarrass us. I may not love the name, but I'm not going to hate it. I just wanted him gone. I didn't want the Houston Rockets owner Fertitta to buy this organization. He seems like a bad owner. Like, we would have been going from the worst to a bad owner. And that's not what I'm looking to do, but that's still an upgrade, right? From worse to bad is still an upgrade. That's just not where we want to be. But at the end of the day, I'm in the same spot that I was yesterday, because we've been building towards this thing getting done, and nothing has been thrown in the way of this. Nothing, no obstacles have come up. No monkey wrenches have been thrown in this thing where we didn't think it was getting done in over 2 months. I did a video probably 2 months ago where I was like, should I? And this is when I got off the roller coaster, because I was starting to, I was reading everything and I was allowing this stuff to seep into my brain, and I was allowing it to, alter the way that I was feeling, when I'm like, bro, this shit is going down. Too many people that I trust keep telling me the same thing. This shit is going down. You got nothing to worry about. But we're in the same spot. So we'll see what happens. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy JP writes, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, would you rather draft a Pitt running back or sign McKinnon? I'd rather get the young fella, Abakanda. But again, we'll see what they decide to do. But that's what I would rather do. I would rather go in that direction. Younger, cheaper, and you get him for a longer period of time. McKinnon I think he's either pushing 30 or he's past 30. So we'll see what happens. Got another super here. This one is from Ryan A. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how do you feel about DJ Turner? I like his game. I haven't actually watched him enough to be able to say how I feel about him definitively. I've watched bits and pieces of him. He's on my short list of guys that I have to watch coming up here. I've gotten through quite a bit of prospects this week, and so he'll be coming up here shortly. But I can tell you this, he's a little undersized, probably going to have to play in a slot, but he's very sticky, all right? Don't love the fact that he was really only truly a starter at Michigan for 1 year. That's this past year, and that he doesn't have a ton of ball production. So I'll be able to dig into him a little bit more, but those are my preliminary thoughts about DJ Turner at this point. All right, let's see if we have any more comments. All right, so no more super chats. We're going to be live tonight, so you guys come back and join me. And again, we may rehash this. A lot of people are at work, didn't get to experience this for whatever it's worth. So we will talk draft. We will talk about this team. We will talk about everything under the sun, Commanders related, later on tonight. Command Post Live, 9:30 p. Y'all know where to find me. So I appreciate y'all chopping it up with the kid on this impromptu edition of the Command Post Live. We're getting close. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. We're knocking on the door, man. At some point, they're going to open it up. You keep on knocking, but you can't come in. Well, at some point, they're either going to open the bitch up or we kicking it down, but we coming in and we taking what's ours. And that's this organization back. So we close, but we're not there yet. We'll talk more about that and everything else under the sun, Commanders related, tonight on the Command Post Live. Until then, you guys have a good one. Take care and have a beautiful rest of your day.
LouieTeeNetwork.